Okay, video of the takedown of a DMAG. Very simple, really good design. Every component on this is a mirror image, and you'll see what I mean, and I shall show you. You need a screwdriver just to slowly release these little caps up. That then separates apart, and you can pull these apart like so. Really simple. Hold that section down because the springs in there, you see, and it comes out. Both springs are identical. The cap at the bottom, that can be turned both ways around. Each of these parts are pretty insignificant in price. USA about $1, so around about £1 or 80p here. These are mirror image, so you can actually put them either side of the mag. Both exactly the same, so they fit either side. So useful to know if your friend's got one or something and you need a spare part on the field. You can just swap them out really easily. And once you've used that screwdriver, everything else is removable by hand without any tools. All comes apart really quickly. And as you can see, all the components they're just the same, so you can swap them over. So that one will actually fit that side. You just turn it around and it fits. So ridiculously easy to maintain, really cheap. And despite the feel of them, we get comments like they're cheap. They are cheap. That's basically the reason. The quality of them is actually very good. They may feel cheap, but there's one thing from it feeling cheap and it actually being cheap. It's built to withstand a lot of abuse, and if you throw one on the concrete floor versus any other mag, you'll see how strong they really are. It's the way they're built up. So this section is actually built in such a way that it's very strong, so you can't bend it that way. It will not bend the way it's built. I'm not sure if you can actually see this. It might take a bit of jiggery pokery. So as you can see, there's actually those lines, they are cutouts basically. So there's that section. So although you can squish it that way, you try and bend it that way, very difficult to do, and more or less impossible. Like the paper trick. Look that up if you've never seen it. You can make a piece of paper very strong. So you refocus back down here again. Okay, so all these parts, as I say, are mirrors, so these parts are the same, and working together they obviously form the bottom, but interchangeable. All the parts are crazy cheap. Say all you need is a screwdriver just to take off the bottom or to separate them. You could actually do it with your fingers, but if you really had to, but I would definitely recommend using a screwdriver. Components, put them back together, very simple. This part is the bit that people tend to feel, because that obviously covers the rest of the mag. Now that is, it's soft, it's bendy, it's squishy. You can sort of twist it about. It feels like it's cheap plastic, but it's very strong plastic. And when you can keep doing that, it doesn't deform, stays exactly the same. So that pushes in. Once this insert's put in, then it's solid. That's the point of it, really. A bit of movement in there allows for that. So to put it back together again, as you'll see, is pretty straightforward, to be honest. Piece goes in there, piece goes in there. It's a bit like building up Lego in some respects. Oops. So there are springs on the end of these, which is a feature of the mag, and one of Omar's videos says about taking those out if you really want to, but you lose some of the features of that, so I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you can take them out if you need to be, but just make sure they're in there. They don't tend to just fall out. These can only fit in one way, so just slide them in. You can't go wrong. Springs, we do replacement springs. Again, not very expensive. If like me, you get them tangled together. Try not to do that. They all go in there, like so. It's all nice and straightforward. It's designed so you can put it together on the field, with little to no fuss at all. And it's not a problem take them apart at home and just practice with them. So that's spring loaded. It's just a reverse of the install. Sorry, just taking it apart, just a reverse of that. That's in, and then all that's left to do is put that on there, clip them in, push that in. Simple as that. Very, very strong, sturdy piece of kit, and really, really easy to maintain. I mean, the advantages of them are great, really. Some people don't like the flip aspect of them. You have to turn them around. Then our suggestion would be just use the one side. They're cheap enough to do that, and you just load it with 10 and use it as a 10 round mag. If you don't want to flip, use 10 rounds, throw it on the floor. You know, or put it in your mag pouch, whatever. Very strong, cheap to maintain, and you know, very easy to maintain as well. Just a screwdriver to remove the bottom tabs, and then it's completely toolless. And you can take out the parts and replace the parts as needs be. So there you go. That's the takedown of the DMAG. I hope that helps some of you guys out there who've asked us the question on how to maintain it.